Welcome to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show. I'm Kevin Lawrence in studio with my dad, Dr. Gary Lawrence, and we are a father and son team dedicated to helping you create your new financial future today. Dr. G and I believe there is a solution to your financial situation. So as you listen, we hope you will be entertained, educated, and encouraged. We are so glad that you are riding along with us today. Dr. G and I are on this show every day because we care about people. We invest in people. We believe every person listening to us right now, yes, that's you, has been given the ability by God to create a new financial future. There's no need, my friends, for you to continue living in fear of what will happen if you run out of money. If you have confidence, or you can have confidence, as you face the next 5, 10, 15 years. See, Dr. G and I also invest in real estate. We've built a business model with education in real estate. We have also been able to change the course of our personal futures and have already helped to change the financial futures of hundreds more. Now, you may say, well, Kevin, that's nice for you and Dr. G, but what's the catch? Well, you're correct. There is a catch. And the catch is you have to have a burning desire along with a deep commitment to work as you change your direction. And, Dad, this is why you and I reach out every day to inspire our listeners so they become proactive as they change their direction.
Yeah, we want people to learn how to become proactive and stop being reactive.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, Kevin, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of Americans have just enough money coming in to keep them somewhat comfortable while they stay broke. And I talk to people every week, as I'm sure you do. They know that working for the other man is not going to create financial freedom for them. It's just not going to happen. You're earning a paycheck. And, you know, one of the greatest oxymorons I've ever heard is job security.
Right. Yeah.
There's no such thing as security in a job. How many people have you met in the last 6 months that got laid off, even in today's economy, because they're just another number on the payroll of a large company? And it's just frightening how many people will continue to rent themselves out to earn a paycheck because for the temporary, it seems comfortable. It seems like it's meeting the need.
Right, and that's what we're told to do. Just the downside is when it happens. It's not if, but when it happens and you get that pink slip, so to speak,
right,
you better have a plan in place.
You better have a plan. And our guest today, just an awesome couple. He's a perfect example of what we're talking about. He moved to the Valley, started looking for a job, and rather quickly came to the conclusion that there's nothing out there that's going to pay him what he's worth and what he wants to create. And they're a fantastic husband and wife team. They're key leaders on our team, Scottsdale Elevate, our real estate investing team up in North Scottsdale. And they live out in Santan Valley. And the poor guy lives right on the golf course. And I've heard rumors that he plays golf at least 6 times a week. That's a whole lot different than where he was last year. So let's bring him on. Cole Ingram and Peggy Casper, what a joy to have you folks on the air today.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks, Dr. G.
Now, were you out playing golf before we got on the broadcast?
Not this morning. It wasn't that I wouldn't have wanted to, but they don't have lights out there.
Have lights out.
Don't have lights. That's right. It's still dark.
It's still dark.
Because we're pre-recording this.
Yeah.
So, hey, Cole and Peggy, you heard our introduction. I'm going to start with you. Cole, would you share your story about why you didn't take a job working for the man when you came to the Valley?
Sure, Dr. G. I'd be glad to. Well, I had every intention of taking a job, always viewed myself as employable, knew that I had the work ethic that people, oftentimes say that was a critical factor of retaining a job. But what I found when I moved to Arizona is that there weren't any jobs of the same nature that I was finding in Montana. In other words, I'd found high-paying jobs, and I was able to sustain a lifestyle and provide for my family, which is one of the most important things for me, that
Sure.
I could give the kids and my wife what they needed.
Uh-huh.
And when I got to Arizona, the options at being 58 and my my lack of willingness to commute hours each day, just they didn't align, and the jobs were I was going to go broke, to be honest with you, working for the wages that were being offered to me.
Wow.
I just couldn't maintain my lifestyle.
Well, let me ask you this. Is there a huge disparity between the wage level in Montana and what there is here in Arizona?
No, I guess I wouldn't say that there's probably a similar situation. What I found being in Montana and having been there my whole life, I had a much larger circle of influence, and so some of those things created better job opportunities because people knew me. So that being said, when I moved to Arizona, I knew no one, and my options were very limited.
Right.
So, Cole, the company you were working for, how long did you work for them before they laid you off?
I worked 4 years.
4 years. So 4 years
Yeah.
of getting up every day, going to work, doing what you need for the company. Were you surprised when they said that to you? I mean, how did that happen when you were given that information? Paint that picture.
Well, I had been traveling back and forth from Montana, where I was working in the oil field, to Arizona on my week. I'd have a week off. I'd work every other week, and so we bought a home in Arizona so that I could escape the cold. Anybody who's familiar with Montana, North Dakota, it's really frigid for a long time during the year. So we were coming to Arizona to get out of it. Well, I went home one trip home to go back to work. I walked in the office. They said, "We're laying you off." And prior to that, I was not made aware that I was on the bubble. I knew there were other people that they talked about that they wanted to lay off. For whatever reason, they laid me off. I believe that it had issues to do with my age.
Sure.
Obviously, a company wouldn't acknowledge that, but from what people told me afterwards, that may have been the factor. So that being said, I knew that right there that I was going to struggle at finding the same kind of job.
So, Peggy, I want to ask you a question. How were you handling all this disconnect in his job, his career, and so on?
It was extremely stressful for me, Dr. G. He's always been a proud man. He's always worked very, very hard. At the time that he got laid off, I was down here in Arizona, and he called me and said, "You're not going to believe this. I just got laid off. I lost my job." And I thought he was kidding. So it came as quite a shock to both of us.
Just listening to your story, it's frightening how someone else controls your life by making a decision for the company. And that just had to be a shocker of an experience at this time in your life, Cole and Peggy. I mean, Cole, you're 58 years old. But, there's no such thing as age discrimination, is there?
No,
That's
not at all.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So,
right.
Just like there is no such thing as intelligent government either. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, the reason we have Cole and Peggy on the air with us today is because we're doing a special segment this week of Where Are They Now? So, Cole and Peggy, you've been part of our local Renatus community of real estate investors for right at a year. Am I right?
A little over a year, Dr. G. Probably about, 13, 14 months now.
Okay. And Cole, Peggy, how did you guys hear about Renatus? By the way, I want to tell our audience you're listening to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence show. And Renatus is a Latin term for rebirth. And Renatus is the premier real estate investing education system in America. And Renatus is the only educational system in America that pays its students to earn while they learn. And I'll tell you what, it certainly has transformed mine and my wife, Sylvia, our life and our future in a tremendous way. So how did you hear about Renatus, Cole?
Well, my story was that when I moved down here, I told myself I'm going to get a job.
Right.
So I did like most people did. I started using every avenue I could. I was reading the newspaper ads. I was getting on every kind of website that I thought was available to me. Obviously, I'm not a very techie person, being 58 years old, but I knew there were websites and links that I could look for employment. So through the course of doing that, I ran across an ad that somebody had placed that was already enrolled in Renatus with ZipRecruiter. And it was compelling enough to me that I thought I owed it to myself to follow up with the ad. So I had a conversation with the gentleman after applying for the position that he was looking for somebody to work with in this business, to be a mentor to. So he said, you need to come and check our company out. He said the company is doing amazing things, and he said the opportunity that he believed was the best one he had ever seen had no pressures, no obligations, no expenses. So I said, Peggy, I need to go see this. What if? So that's what I did. I went to an opportunity forum, and I knew right away that the company had integrity after hearing about Bob Snyder. I met a lot of the people, such as you and Kevin and so many others. I mean, I could tell there were a lot of people in the room that were not only having success and were excited, that my belief in their honesty and their that they were just everyday people led me to believe that this was something I could grab a hold of and be quite successful at.
All right, Cole Ingram and Peggy Casper, we're going to be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the voices of two people that we highly respect and dearly love. They are successful real estate investors, but that wasn't the case just 13 or 14 months ago. He was looking for a job, just over broke. And he decided, well, that's not going to work for him at the age of 58. He's going to reinvent himself and learn how to become a successful real estate investor. Hey, Kevin and I would like to invite you to be our personal guest at our business forum this week, right here in the Valley. There's no cost to you. You're our guest. And you're going to learn about Renatus. You're going to learn about real estate investing as it is in Arizona today, not where it was 5 or 6 years ago. You're going to learn about what your possibilities and probabilities really are that you can create a new financial future now. If you would like to be mine and Kevin's personal guest, I'm going to give you my phone number. Call me and we'll make it happen. Are you ready to write down my number? Here it is. It's 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. So Peggy Casper, your husband, Cole, had read the ad. He was responding. How did you feel about what he was responding to, or did you even know about it at that time?
Well, he told me he was going to a forum in Scottsdale. He invited me to go. I went with him. I've always gone with him. And we came home, and Cole says, this is what I want to do.
Wow.
And I looked at him with this blank face. He said, this is what I want to do. You either can do it with me, or I'm going to do it without you. And I had such fear, Dr. G, because I had lost my first husband in 2009 to a sudden heart attack.
Wow.
And it threw me into emotional ruin and financial ruin. I had to sell my house. I had to sell most everything in it and move in with my stepsister.
Wow.
So when Cole came to me and said he was doing this and that, for a while there would be no paycheck, it scared me.
Oh, I can understand that fear of loss just raised its ugly head again, didn't it?
It did, because when my husband died, I lost a huge income. I had just started my own little company, and it was just starting to gather steam. And that first year, I only made $11,000. So you can see where I was emotionally and financially.
Wow.
And then it was scary.
So, Cole, now I'm just asking you to speak to our audience from your heart. Were you being insensitive to Peggy, or were you saying, look, I've got to do something here. I've got to take the lead here and create a new financial platform? Where were you at that time, buddy?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, Dr. G, because I guess when I tell that story, sometimes that comes across as though I had no compassion towards her feelings or whatever. But I believe that strongly, that this was probably the only thing that I have ever seen that was going to allow me a couple of things: to make the kind of living, to provide for the two of us, and a daughter that had just recently graduated college, still felt somewhat obligated to helping her to whatever degree. But it was the belief in the people that I had met, that and the fact that real estate was the only thing I could see that allowed me to create a passive income. Now, I knew that I had jobs where I've made a lot of money, but I had done miserably, as most of America has done, I found out later, in preparing for retirement. And I just knew that real estate done correctly, which was only going to be done if I was educated, because I knew nothing about it. So that was why I felt I was obligated to take a hold of the education so I could make the best decisions and judgments when it was in regards to real estate. But it was the only thing I was going to do that was then going to create me an income when I was either too old to work or unable to work physically, and that's why I was so committed to it.
Well, and it also gives you time to play golf.
It does that, too.
Amen.
I mean, what I hear you guys saying is, and I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit because we're talking about where are you now, and we'll get to that. But it really, I mean, you're creating a lifestyle the way you want to live rather than allowing a company to dictate to you your lifestyle, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Well, and I'll say this, and this is for people who don't maybe know Kevin very well, but Kevin said something that resonated with me, does till this day. I share it with everybody I talk to, and I've taken control of my financial platform. And when you work a job, you have none of that. You literally, I mean, you might think you've got some control, but you don't know whether they're going to cut your wages, whether they're going to lay you off, whether they're going to tell you you're going to work more hours, more days, less days, whatever. This is the kind of lifestyle where I take control of everything.
Well, and that's what I love about Renatus. You know, ladies and gentlemen, you may be doing good financially, but I'll guarantee you when you learn how to become a successful real estate investor, you're not just doing good. You're going to do better. You're going to add more to your life. And those of you that may be at the bottom financially, hey, we're going to help you climb the ladder and get out of that quagmire of financial frustration. Just real quickly, I want to say this, Cole and Peggy. Back in 2009, when Sylvia and I were going through bankruptcy and foreclosure, we lost our house. We lost everything. That's when I was introduced to Renatus. And I came home and told my wife, honey, I found this group of fantastic, positive, proactive, profit-minded group of real estate investors, and I'm going to educate myself. And I'm going to tell you something. She looked at me like I had snakes in my hair, Peggy. And, well, real estate was a dirty word then, right? I mean, we just lost our house. Yeah, and I know it was frightening for her, but I'm like Cole. I had the conviction that God was going to hold me responsible to take care of my wife and create a financial platform that I control. And I knew if I didn't embrace Renatus, that I was doomed to subsist on social insecurity. And that's all I had coming in. I was 64 going on 65, and together we had $879 a month coming in. And I look at the decision I made to become part of Renatus, and it turns out to be the wisest choice I ever made. Hey, real quick, Cole, in the last 13, 14 months, how many real estate deals have you and Peggy already become involved in?
Let's see, we've been part of 4 deals, and we're currently looking for hopefully 2 more right now that we'd like to get started with the first of the year.
Evidently, no one ever told you yet that the economy is on the increase and real estate prices are skyrocketing. There's no deals out there. Has anybody told you that yet, Cole?
Oh, I hear that from people, but those are people who haven't really immersed themselves in real estate. They don't know the ins and outs. What I've learned is it doesn't matter whether real estate's on the rise or it's on the decline. There's always a deal out there, but it takes an effort, and I'm willing to put in the effort to find the deal. That's kind of what it comes down to.
Peggy, we were talking about the fears, the concerns, moving into this new area. What have you done? Just take about a minute and a half here, share with our audience. How did you mentally go, okay, this is a good place to go? Cole's got the good, well, I'm in. How did you get yourself there?
Well, I started going with Cole to each and every event, to the forums on Thursday night, to property tours.
Mm-hmm.
I started to meet the people within the Scottsdale community, getting to know them, getting to know what projects they were doing, asking a lot of questions. And then I had faith in my husband, I think.
Wow.
And I get emotional when I talk about it, but he's so much wiser than I am. And he had the foresight and the fortitude to see what is ahead. And I thank God every day that he took me to the meetings, and I was able to turn my thinking around.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So you and Cole came to the business forum. I'm going to come back, and I want you to take the last 2 minutes of our program time and tell our audience what you guys experienced at the business forum, would you? You're listening to Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence, and this is Cole Ingram and Peggy Casper, our special guest, a precious couple. And they're just like you and I, folks. They just want to take ownership of their own financial future. Hey, if you would like to learn how to do that, Kevin and I are hosting another business forum this week. We'd love for you to be our personal guest. Let me give you our phone number. Are you ready to write it down? It's 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. Peggy, would you take a couple minutes, a minute and a half? Tell our audience, what did you and Cole experience when you came to the business forum?
Well, it like I said, it's meeting the people. It's learning, going over some of the classes, talking about some of the things that we had no idea in raising a family that we could do tax-wise to save ourselves thousands and thousands of dollars on taxes alone. It's amazing. The velocity banking classes, how you go over the velocity banking,
right,
and all of that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Cole and Peggy, you're a precious couple. We're going to come back tomorrow. Hey, Cole, you got anything you'd like to say to our audience in about the next 30 seconds?
Well, for people who are looking for something different, if they're struggling with where they're at and they don't see a very bright future, or they recognize that just doing what they're doing isn't going to get them what they want.
Right.
If they got an opportunity, take a look at what we're doing. They'll get educated in a very short amount of time. Usable information, whether they take a liking to Renatus or not. It was just probably the best thing I ever did.
I'll tell you what, Cole and Peggy, it's a joy to have you as our guest today. You've heard the saying many times, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. But I say it another way. Repetition is the greatest teacher or the greatest torture. If you keep repeating what you're doing now, it could turn into a torture. And you could end up, are you ready? Flat broke. I mean, where are you going to be in 10 years from now, ladies and gentlemen? Are you going to take ownership of your future? Change, when left to chance, gives birth to conflict. If you don't change, I'll guarantee you things won't change. The only thing that won't change is the fact that things will change. Now, here's a principle I want to teach you. I encourage you, stop being a circumstantial creator and become an intentional creator. Start living life on purpose. Take ownership of your financial future. Success is not a destination, it's a journey. You can succeed. All that's given to anyone is given to you. Now listen carefully. Success is not final, but failure's never fatal. An investment in knowledge will pay you the best return on your investment. Did you know that you're full of the power of success? Now, why would I say this with such strong conviction? It's real simple. The scriptures tell us, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. I'm Dr. G, And Kevin and I want you to create a new financial future now. Why not start today? Well, Cole and Peggy, it's a joy to have you back on the air. And you shared your story yesterday. You shared the fears, Peggy, that you had because your previous husband passed away back in 2009. And I think you lost your home. You lost everything because, well, you lost your husband. And then, of course, you and Cole got acquainted, and that relationship grew, and now you're married. And now Cole lost his job, and here you are again, back in the throes of, well, what's going to happen in the future? Am I right, Peggy?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so here you are now. You came to one of our business forums. You got acquainted with our local team of real estate investors. Cole, how long was it after you attended one of our first business forums you decided to become a student with Renatus? And by the way, I want to tell our audience, Renatus is a Latin term for rebirth, and Renatus is the premier real estate investing education system in America. Now, with all that being said, Cole, you were looking for a job originally, but then once you came to one of our business forums, you actually became a student of Renatus and repositioned yourself to learn how to become a successful real estate investor. Am I saying that right?
I would say that's pretty much it in a nutshell, Dr. G. Again, as I had mentioned on yesterday's program, the value that I walked away with after the forum presentation was pretty much solidified. Just the genuine personalities that I met and the people who had shared their stories about where they were in life, and it's no one's immune to it. It seems like everybody in the room had a personal story of having lost fortunes or filed bankruptcy or whatever, and I knew I was in the same boat. If I hadn't lost everything, I was close to it. We all seem to live paycheck to paycheck, so I knew I was desperate. They say desperation is the greatest form of motivation, and boy, nothing's ever truer than it was with me.
Yeah, it's either inspiration or desperation. Mine was desperation. Yours was desperation. But thank God with Renatus, that desperation quickly becomes inspiration. Am I right or right, Peggy?
Correct. Absolutely right.
Are you excited about some of the real estate deals you and Cole are involved in now?
I am very excited. We've done 3 fix and flip this last year. We bought a buy and hold. We're always on the lookout for more buy and holds, rentals, to increase our passive income. And where this is going is just been amazing in 1 year.
Well, there's an old saying around our local team up in Scottsdale with Renatus Team Elevate. It's not all ding-dongs and cupcakes, is it?
No, it's not.
Cole, what would you say the greatest challenge is that you and Peggy have faced in your journey with Renatus?
Probably the biggest challenge is just getting out of my own way.
There you go.
And paying attention to what other people are saying, and I guess, I was asked a question of how teachable I was, and I said, well, on a scale from 1 to 10, I said I'm a 10.
Uh-huh.
But in reality, I had to take a look in the mirror and be honest with myself, and that is still a challenge. I still work on it, but it's something that I want to be. I want to be an example of somebody who wants to be teachable and coachable, and so that's my challenge, is just getting out of my own way and admitting that I'm a work in progress, and things are kind of coming. It's not an overnight deal, but I certainly see market improvement.
Well, and here's the thing, Cole, and for both you and Peggy, you're learning, you're growing, you're in a different phase of life, and that's a key to success, is always keep growing, always keep learning. But you say it's not overnight, but my gosh, it's sure been a short period of time. I mean, to think about taking someone who is in a completely different industry, both of you, completely different industry in real estate investing, you enroll in education, you get plugged into the community, and within a 12-month period of time, that's a relatively short period of time, especially for those of us who are north of 40 years old. A year goes by quick. Look at what you have been able to accomplish. I think that speaks to the power of Renatus as a system. Colt, take this question first, and then Peggy, if you'll answer as well. What was one or two of the key classes that you would attribute that got you going and moving?
Well, first off, when I decided to do this, we understood that we were starting our own business.
Right.
So that being said, we had to know how to run a business. Not
right.
that I had been in business before, but what this did was made me just blatantly aware of how little I knew about business in general. So we knew that we had to learn first how to run a business. So we knew that tax and legal issues were going to be paramount. So that was the first thing we did, and we had heard so many good things about the tax and legal class. But to be honest with you, when I thought about sitting down to spending a couple of days watching a tax and legal class, it was difficult. I'm going to be honest, but I was pleasantly surprised. Till this day, it's probably been my favorite class.
I know Mark Kohler's quite the instructor, isn't he?
Oh, his personality.
Oh, yeah.
It
love
made
him.
it just. We'd look at each other after watching a couple segments of the class and say, "Do you want to watch more?" And realize we'd been there for 2-3 hours without blinking. And so it was that to me is just, he's my favorite personality. Not that all these other instructors aren't amazing people. I'm friends with them. I've got them on my phone. I've got their phone numbers. They're great people. I just so appreciate Mark Kohler's sense of humor and the way he presented information.
Dad, who would have thought that when you ask somebody, hey, what was your favorite class in business and real estate, it's tax and legal. One of the most boring things. The only other thing I think would be more boring than tax is insurance. God,
Well, God has given Mark Kohler a gift of teaching.
Has.
He really has.
He really has.
And he's the only instructor we have, I know, that can walk down the center aisle in a class and slap himself on the hind end and holler, whoopee, I'm excited about this. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show and Cole Ingram and Peggy Casper. Precious couple live in Santan Valley, right here in the valley. They have made the transition in the last 12 or 13 months from being employees to being career owners. They've got ownership of their own financial platform now through real estate investing, and you can learn to do the same thing. Say, Kevin and I would love to invite you to be our personal guest at our upcoming business forum right here in the Valley. There's no cost to you. It's going to give us an opportunity to get acquainted. You're going to get to meet other team members just like Cole and Peggy. You're going to learn about Renatus, the premier real estate investing education system in America. And if you're teachable and coachable, I'll make this one commitment to you. Your financial future is going to change. You're going to create financial freedom. You're going to experience what that freedom is all about. If you would like to be mine and Kevin's personal guest, I want you to call me. I'm going to give you our phone number now. By the way, when you call, you're going to get my voicemail. So leave a message, and I promise you I'll get back to you. Are you ready to write down my number? Here it is. It's 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. Cole Ingram and Peggy Casper is our special guest today. And you folks were saying how much you loved the tax and legal day 1 and day 2 classes. Did you have another class that was special that you thoroughly enjoyed?
Oh, the fix and flip.
The fix and flip. Yeah, with Darren Davis and Kendall Stock.
Oh, we learned how to find the properties, how to fund the properties, where to find the private money, where to find the hard money. It was an amazing class.
I know. They're just they're fantastic fellows. And, I think one of the special facts about our Renatus education is that once you're enrolled, you have lifetime access. And now if you enroll in the University of Arizona, once you complete your studies, that's it. If you want more education, you pay more money. Mm-hmm. But with the Renatus system, once you're enrolled, you have lifetime access. And I want to tell this story, Cole and Peggy. I had 2 hips replaced surgically. Of course, you're not going to have them replaced any other way, okay, in 2015. And I had spinal surgery in June of 2016. So I had 3 major surgeries over an 18-month period. And a deal came my way, and I called Kevin, and I said, Kevin, here's a deal that's come my way. Would you want to partner with me on it? He said, absolutely, Dad. And so we made that happen because of what we learned in Fix and Flip. But Kevin was right on top of the game, but I wasn't. I couldn't remember a lot of stuff because I had been on drugs, medications they call them, and I'd had a lot of anesthesia in 18 months, and I literally could not remember a lot of what I had learned in my Fix and Flip class. And so because I have lifetime access, I was able to go back in and review and listen back to the class again that brought me up to the same place where Kevin was. What do you think of that deal, Cole?
Oh, it's like nothing I had ever heard of. I mean, I went to college and you know, had a kid currently in college, and I knew what the expected deal was to typical education. That was
right.
You better pay attention and absorb it all, because once you're done, you're done.
Right.
And you know, with Renatus having the ability to look at this anytime, night or day, rewatch it as many times, go back even a year, like you say, later.
Right.
Incredible. You know, we talk about the number of classes that I agreed to when I decided to enroll in the Renatus system. I agreed to about 50 classes, and I thought that was amazing. And in that year's time, now I look in my back office, it's no longer 50 classes. It's 55 now, and I paid no more for that education, and that just doesn't happen in your typical educational model.
Well, everybody's heard of the University of Phoenix. Cole and Peggy, tell me if I'm very far off when I describe Renatus, the premier real estate investing education system in America, as the University of Phoenix on steroids.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, you know, go ahead, Peggy. You tell them.
Well, there's no question. I mean, the classes are, and some of these classes take 2 and 3 days or more to go through them.
Yeah.
So it's very intense, and it covers everything.
Yeah, it's comprehensive in nature, and that was the point of it.
Extremely.
When you get kind of down into the minutia of it, you know, it's important for people to understand the Renatus education system is built on a platform that is undergirded through the ISD, or the instructional system design. So in other words, what it takes when you go to University of Phoenix or Grand Canyon University or any college in America, if you go from I don't know this content to 4 years later, I have a degree and now I should be somewhat proficient, that's the same type of design this education has. I don't know tax and legal and real estate investing, so we're going to learn and build on concepts and principles to improve and enhance student outcomes. So people like Cole and Peggy, a year into it, can say we are making offers and we are building a real estate portfolio in a relatively short period of time.
Now, Cole and Peggy, I'm just curious, and I don't expect you to be spot on the money, but I'm just curious. You've been with Renatus now 12, 13 months. You've done 3 fix and flips. You've got 1 buy and hold. Cole, can you give us a round number? What kind of profit have you or are you generating with these 4 deals that you're already involved in?
Well, it's the one property that's for sale. It's currently the only one that we still have. Should it sell now, we're just south, just tiny bit under $100,000 in our first.
No, wait a minute. One deal, $100,000.
No, with that deal would take us, the combination of the 4 deals would take us just up to about 100.
Okay, now I want our audience to hear what they just said, Kevin.
This is why we're doing the Where Are They Now?
Yeah, where are they now? I mean, they started 13 months ago from the bottom, made an investment. He was looking for another JOB, but he ended up getting educated with Renatus, and they've generated in their first year just under $100,000. Now, I'm just curious, Cole, how many hours would you had to work out there in the oil field?
Well, it had been a full year of work. I think my last year was $120,000, some of there, but it was a whole year, and it was physically it was very demanding. That was a lot, even though I was only working every other week. The people have to understand, my life was in jeopardy every day I was at work. I worked with the most poisonous gases known to mankind.
Wow.
It was common for people there were probably 2, 3, 4 people lose their life every year in the oil field.
Wow.
It wasn't uncommon to hear about that kind of an accident.
And when you worked in the oil fields, you didn't have the freedom to go out and play golf 6 times a week, did you?
Well, I'd like to lie and say I didn't play a lot of golf. My job was such that I could get off work early enough and I could get to the golf course, but that was because it was a priority. Unlike now, my priority really focuses on my real estate business because I am committed to creating a passive income so that some point in life I don't have to, if I choose not to, I don't even have to do a fix and flip.
Hey, I'm just wondering, we just had the honor and privilege of meeting your daughter and your son-in-law, and what are their thoughts? What's their feedback that they give you about what you and Peggy are doing now?
Well, they're very excited for us. They're both in corporate America. They're young kids with college degrees.
Yeah.
My daughter's got a very high stress job. She's moved up the ladder fast, but as she recognizes now, the better she is at her job, the more responsibility they bestow on her. And she and her husband now are property owners. They own a couple of properties, and I'm convinced that within a relatively short amount of time, they'll make the transition to being not only Renata students, but full-time real estate investors.
Well, I tell you what, I hope for your sake that when they were here, that we didn't embarrass you guys.
Not even a little bit.
Hey, you listen to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show, and Cole Ingram and Peggy Casper is our special guest today. Kevin, tell our audience about the business forum.
Yeah, so we're, again, here's your personal invitation, friends, that Dr. G and I extend to you every day to be our personal guest at our business forum coming up this week. Now, let me tell you about it. There's no cost to it, first of all. So you're going to go ahead and show up, and no, you're not bringing any forms of payment. You're not buying anything. You're just coming to meet us. Let us get acquainted with you to see if we're a good fit for one another. We also invite you to bring a friend or a family member with you. Maybe you have a friend or a coworker that you want a second set of eyes or a second set of ears on what we're doing. Please bring them with you. We love to meet them and introduce ourselves to them. The number you're going to call, I'm going to give you in just a second here. And what you're going to do is call and leave your name and phone number and a message, and Dr. G or I will return your call personally. The number is 602-730-5645. Again, that number is 602-730-5645. Please, when you call, speak slowly and clearly so we can make sure we get your correct information. And one of the highlights that we have, Dad, at all our business forums is being able to meet our listeners.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Hey, Colt and Peggy, there's an old saying. It goes like this. Now, I want both of you to comment it. We've got about 2.5 minutes left. Here's the saying. It goes like this. Sometimes God calms the storm, and sometimes God lets the storm rage while he calms his child. What do you does that ring a bell with you guys, Cole? You want to respond to that?
Yeah. I guess it. To me, how I view it is, it's been not since I've matured and I'm able to recognize that a lot of things aren't in my control. And by allowing the open mind and the ability to see that I'm not in total control of everything in the world, and I no longer try to take that control.
Right.
But the one thing I can control is a financial platform, and therefore I choose to focus and put my energy in that. And I'm blessed every day that I've got the wherewithal and the ability to do that.
The storm kept raging, but it seems like you're very calm, Cole.
Well, nobody's ever totally because I've experienced,
right.
Having had the rug pulled out from underneath my feet,
right.
as we all have. And but what I'm recognizing is this will be my opportunity. That is less likely going to happen, and because everything's a risk, it's always going to be a risk. But this has made me at least feel like I'm now in control of my future, as compared to when I was working for other people. I had no control.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's say that oil company called you and said, Cole, we need you back. We're going to give you a $4 an hour raise. Will you come back to work for us?
That's funny. I get asked that question by other people. And not only no, but Heck no.
Remember,
No
you're on
way.
You're on Christian radio, Cole.
A key ingredient to success is being a lifelong learner. You must keep yourself in a state where you are willing to learn. One of the best ways that we can continue learning as we age is to approach learning with a childlike attitude. It has been said, there's nothing new under the sun. There are just lots of old things we don't know. Now, children are in a continual state of enthusiasm. Trust me, I've raised 3. I know this. Children are excited about new things. And with excitement and enthusiasm, they open up their minds and ears to receive, retain, and recall. Now, Dad, it has also been said that the spirit of genius is to carry the attitude of childlikeness into your old age. So when you reach that old age, Dad, let me know if that's true because you're so young now. So let me know if the genius really is carrying that attitude of a child into
I
old
want to
age.
make this statement to our audience. Ladies and gentlemen, my son humbles me. And, you know, Kevin, for years I've taught that when you stop learning, you stop living. Mm-hmm. And it's so sad. You know, I'm 73 years old. And when I was 64, your mother and I were going through bankruptcy and foreclosure. After 25 years with a very successful counseling practice, we had planned for our retirement. Consistently, we made investments in mutual funds and stocks. And 6 weeks after we retired, we found out we'd lost most of our portfolio in the stock crash. So here I am, 64 years old, white hair. I'm a retired professional, and I'm flat broke. No money to retire on. My golden years turned into the 10 years. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was introduced to Renatus. And Renatus is the premier real estate investing education system in America. And I've got 5 degrees. And I won't go through them on the air today. But anyway, I looked at those degrees, and I thought, you know what? They have no value to me. I'm not going to go back into counseling. I already did it for 25 years. Mm-hmm. So I decided I'm going to re-educate myself, and I'm going to learn how to become a successful real estate investor. And I look back at that, and people were amazed that at the age of 64, I started a new career. But I didn't just start a new career. Looking back now, what I did is I positioned myself to create a new lifestyle.
Absolutely.
That I wasn't going to be dependent on money. I was going to become financially free and not let my circumstances continue to control me. And how was I going to do that? I was going to be willing to learn. Mm-hmm. And here I am now. I'm 73 years old, and I looked at the numbers for last year. I've averaged $28,000 a month last year. That's a whole lot better than the $1,212 a month in Social Insecurity.
Just a little, yes. I agree.
And, you know, it's all about your teachability. And our special guest were sharing yesterday how he gave himself a 10 on 0 to 10, 10 being the best. How teachable and coachable was he? And he said, I'm a 10. I want to bring them on. Cole Ingram, Peggy Casper. It's a joy to have you back on the air today. You've been listening to our conversation. Cole, what do you think about what I just said to Kevin?
Well, it makes me laugh, you know, and I know that other people listen to this, you know, they probably, hopefully they're laughing at my statement too. I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
And, but I'm grateful that I'm just smart enough to know that I'm able to change. I'm able to make improvements on myself. So that being said, I'm looking at new growth. I'm excited about the fact that I'm still teachable. So that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna apply myself.
Well, now you're what? You're almost 60, aren't you now?
Yep. Yeah, I'm just shy. I got about 4 months and I'll be 60.
Man, you're just a young pup.
Yeah. Okay.
And but Cole and Peggy, that is the secret. We have to be teachable. We have to be willing to reinvent ourselves because life's not over yet. Am I right, Peggy?
Exactly.
Well, and, you know, with Cole and Peggy both being together here today, I want to say for our audience, you know, Cole is just shy of 60, and I know, Cole, that you have married a much younger lady.
Oh, she's somewhere in her early 40s.
She's got to be. Isn't that right, Peggy? You're much younger than your husband.
I'm more experienced than you. I'm older. I'm actually older.
I'm more experienced. Hey, Jeremy, can we edit that?
You guys are just a kick to have on the show. But here's the key thing. I talked about the importance of learning is we have to have that childlike attitude of not childishness, but a childlike openness, excitement, enthusiasm. And Peggy, that's what I hear in your voice. I hear what you talk about and what Cole talks about. But just kind of pack that a little bit, Peggy. What have you become excited about? What has renewed that energy in you?
Well, I'm very excited about our future. Like Cole said, we don't want to do fix and flips the rest of our lives.
Right.
We want to financially be independent, where we can actually be the investor, invest in other deals for other people, give back, and help other people get started. That's a goal of ours.
Right. And that's what our local community is all about. Can you share with our audience? I've just listened to Peggy and Cole. I think one of the reasons our local community real estate investors are so excitable and exciting is because they're teachable. We're all learning. And as you continue to learn, you just get more excited about what you're learning and how to apply it. What would you say about that, Peggy?
I agree with you, Dr. G. We've learned so much. We now, having done the projects that we have other people within our Scottsdale community coming to us and asking advice and how did you get started on your first project? And it's amazing. We've gained the credibility that we needed.
Well, you not just gained it. I'm going to ask Cole to respond to this. It's not that you gained credibility. You created that credibility.
We've created it, yes.
I mean, look where you guys were 12, 13 months ago. What would you say, Cole?
Well, I agree. We created it, but it was not that. I guess that wasn't our intention.
Right.
But now looking back at it, I see how that was a natural progression.
Yeah.
And again, we had mentioned on a show a day or two, either yesterday or the day before, that desperation was my motivation.
Right.
And so by taking the steps necessary and having what I felt comfortable with in terms of my education, when we stepped off the curb into the busy traffic, we found out that we were capable of making it across the road without getting run over. So once we did cross the road and it got to the other side safely, and there was a good result, so that gained the credibility that we were looking for. And I guess we were looking for so that we could share it with other people.
So one of the key things that Renatus, I think locally and nationally, really prides itself on, and this is kind of what we're talking about here, is the community. Cole and Peggy, you come out into two different industrial environments, into the real estate investing world as well as business building. Were you doing it by yourself? I mean, what kind of support did you get through your process?
Go ahead, Cole.
Well, absolutely not. We weren't doing it by ourselves, and that was probably one of the biggest factors or things that made me believe that this was something I could tackle, was that I saw the integrity and the sincerity of the people I met at the Business Opportunity Forum, that people were willing to either give advice or lend help or support.
Right.
And it just shocked me to find out that they were willing to do this with no financial gain to themselves. I still challenge everybody I talk to today. If you know of some place where people are willing to give freely their time, their knowledge, and all these different things without expecting anything in return, please tell me about it. Share it with me so that because I'd have room for another thing in my life that it brought me that kind of good fortune. But as of yet, I've not seen any other business model or any other company where people are bending over backwards to be supportive and share all these different resources willingly and expect no financial gain.
Well, Cole, and you know the word team, TEAM, is an acronym for Together Everyone Accomplishes More. And real estate investing is a team game to play in, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You're listening to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show, and Cole Ingram and Peggy Casper is our special guest. And Kevin, remind me, when we come back, I have a very exciting announcement I want to make about Cole and Peggy.
Okay.
Hey, we are hosting another business forum, and Kevin and I would love for you to be our personal guest. It's not going to cost you anything. It's an hour and a half of event. It's not a boring business meeting. It's not a sale-a-thon. It's a gathering of the minds. And if you have the slightest interest in creating a new financial platform, I'm inviting you to be our guest so that we can help you open up the door to the possibilities of what you can create, just like Cole and Peggy. They've been on the floor of creation for the last 13 months, and now things are beginning to gel. Their future certainly looks a whole lot more solid now than it did a year ago. If you would like to be mine, Kevin, guest, you're going to have to call us. I want to give you our phone number. It's 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. You're listening to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show, and Cole Ingram and Peggy Casper is our guest. And I was...
You were going to make an announcement, right?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you asked me to remind you after the break, so I'm doing that.
Well, here's the thing. Cole was saying that in our local community, one of the obvious aspects of our team is everybody's willing to work with other people. We're not money focused. When Cole came to me for some advice, I didn't say, "Well, yeah, if you're paying me $500, I'll coach you."
Oh, wow!
No, we're a team, and together everyone accomplishes more. But Cole and Peggy, I got to be honest with you. I think one of the main reasons why you have come so far so quickly with Renatus is because you two are giving of yourself to the team. I was there last Thursday, Cole, when you stood up and said, "This is our home." How far do you drive to our events? I think it's 65 miles one way.
Yeah, I honestly never looked at the odometer. We gauge it by minutes. On the very, very, very best day, it's about an hour either way. But in heavy traffic, I've seen it take us a couple hours. And I'm not talking about wrecks or
right.
delays. I'm talking about just heavy traffic, probably an hour and 15 minutes. So,
wow.
That's over 2 hours, 2.5 hours every day.
Well, and that's commitment.
That we go in.
And that's commitment. And that's how you build a business. But here's what I want to say, Kevin. You and I, Bill Predabon and Dave Jaquish, we are the executive leadership team of our Team Elevate. And we have recommended that Cole Ingram and Peggy Casper be invited to be members of the LIT team, LIT, Leaders in Training, and they have graciously accepted our offer. Cole and Peggy, are you guys excited about being on the LIT? Are you ready to get lit with the LIT?
We're very excited, Dr. G.
And Peggy, I want you to share from your heart. I mean, we're jazzed that you guys are stepping into our leadership and training team. Glad to be part of our lives. We're friends and we live life together. Peggy, share with our heart, from your heart to the audience, what the support of the community has meant to you.
Oh, it's been great deal. I mean, we had a lot of friends before, but we've kind of changed our circle of friends. Many of the community members have become best friends,
right.
have become good friends. We've become like family. Being asked to be part of the LIT team has been a great opportunity for us, and we feel very honored.
Well, for those listeners, if you're new or just catching our show first time or been listening just a little bit, Renatus, the premier real estate investing education company in the country, has about 36 to 37 investor communities throughout the country. I mean, we're a national organization, so this level of community you're hearing about on the local level exists on the national level. Every year here in Scottsdale, we hold the Arizona Regionals for Renatus, and all the real estate investors and the students and the business owners come together through one event here in Scottsdale. And our CEO, Bob Snyder, who founded Renatus, headquarters in Salt Lake City, Utah, he comes down here with a leadership team from the corporate office. And Cole and Peggy, you had the opportunity to meet the CEO, Bob Snyder.
Right.
Share just a little bit about your interaction with Bob. Is he one of those standoffish guys? Very wealthy person, we know that, so he doesn't have time for all of us, or was it the exact opposite? Just share with us a little bit. Cole?
Well, for me, it was it was kind of a shock to see how Bob made it a point to avail himself for each and every person that wanted a minute of his time. He was the kind of person that when you engage Bob, he gives you his full attention. He treats you like a friend almost from the minute you meet one another. His level of sincerity. He's to me, and I know the rest of the Renatus family that believe in the Renatus. You can't help but just fall in love with this guy. He's a one in a million, and it's just evident.
Well, I agree with you. Peggy, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, Bob is a wonderful communicator, and he's like the guy next door.
Right.
I mean, you can go up and talk to him on a personal level at any point about anything.
Well, there's an old saying that more money just makes you more of what you are.
Absolutely. Sure.
And Bob Snyder, our CEO and founder, is a man that is committed to helping other people create financial freedom. And he and Holly, I think in the last 20-some years, they've done over 2,500 real estate deals. And in their own right, they're multimillionaires. But I asked him, I said, why don't you just retire and enjoy life? I mean, he's only 54 years old. And he says, why? He said, there's too many people I'd still need to help, Gary. And, Cole and Peggy, I've been honored to be part of the President's Advisory Council for the last, I think, almost 4 years now. And every time we're on a weekly conference call with the PAC, I learned something more from Bob. And I'm just thinking, I'm 73, he's 54, but boy, he's got so much to teach me. And I've got so much to learn. Mm-hmm. And I'm so grateful that I have that kind of a mentor in my life at this time.
Amen.
Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah, and I this just shows, Dad, that the heart of who we are as a community, right, who Renatus is. So here you are at 73 years old, willing to learn and be mentored from a man who's 20 years younger than you, And
more than I do,
as me, hey, I'm about 8-9 years behind Bob Snyder, and one thing that it's important that people stay away from, it's something easy I could get caught up in, is, wow, he's only a couple of years older than me, and look how farther along in life he is than I am, and that's just a negative mindset to stay out of, because we as a community, as a company, as individuals are committed to helping each other up. Helping each other reach the goals that are important to them. Everyone is coming at Renatus from a different walk of life,
right,
a different place in life. There is no better than in our community. There's no above and below. It's we're all in this together, working towards a common goal. And it doesn't matter where you're at. We believe you can be successful as long as you're committed to that success, and we will help get you there to reach your goals.
Well, and that's what makes a team work. We all have our own unique strengths, and we all have our own unique weaknesses.
We do.
And it's just like my wife, Sylvia, and I, your mother and I, we've been married almost 51 years now, and she will admit to you that my weaknesses are the very tools that God used to build her strengths. Mm-hmm. And I know that her weaknesses are the very tools that God has used to build my strengths. Mm-hmm. So out of weakness comes strength.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Cole and Peggy, we've gotten to know each other for, over the last year. And you guys have a lot of great strengths.
Oh, my goodness.
That the community is benefiting from. Without a doubt, the only weakness I see, Cole, is that you're a Packer fan. But other than that,
hey, now.
Other than being a Green Bay Packer fan, it's okay. We love you anyway.
Oh, wait a minute. Before we go, let Cole respond. Did that hurt your feelings, Cole?
No, not even a little. Because, with Kevin and the rest of the Renatus team, we've become such good friends. We understand that if they're giving you a little bit of the business, it's because they care about you.
Right.
And we couldn't be happier to be part of this team, and it's really become a family to us. So he knows he's going to get his when I get a chance. We'll discuss
next year.
Just how bad a shape he's in being a Cowboys fan.
All right, you're listening to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show, and our special guests are Cole Ingram and Peggy Casper. And we are hosting another investor business forum this week. Kevin and I would love for you to be our personal guest. Can I encourage you, take some time from making a living and make a life? Why don't you give me a call? Give me an opportunity to reserve a seat for you. And if you'd like to bring a friend, a loved one, by all means, invite them. Come and visit with our team and learn about real estate investing as it is in Arizona today. Learn about what the possibilities are that you can create a financial platform that you control. There's no cost. You're not going to buy anything. We're not going to enroll you in anything. This is a time when we're going to get acquainted. We'd love to meet you. Here's my phone number. And by the way, when you call, leave a message so I can get back to you. It's 602-730-5645. Once again, 602-730-5645. Cole and Peggy, we're almost out of time. Cole, do you have any last thoughts you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, what I'd like to, I guess, be the point of emphasis as far as I'm concerned. If you've got any reason that you feel that where you're at right now in life, whether it's the lack of a job or a job that's not totally satisfying, or you don't see an end to the situation you're in other words, you're not going to be able to adequately prepare for your future, then by all means, take a look at Renatus. It's the best thing I ever did.
And we're not going to put their arms behind their back and force them into anything, are we?
Not to my knowledge. They didn't do it to us. It was something I came willingly, and again, I'm grateful.
Peggy, any thoughts before we leave?
I just thank Bob Snyder. I thank our Scottsdale community, and this has been a wonderful opportunity, and it has totally changed our lives.
Peggy, Casper, and Cole Ingram, you guys were just awesome. We love you. Thank you for being our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do come to our business forum, you're going to be able to meet Cole and Peggy and find out who they really are in the flesh. Hey, I know everybody's got problems, but when it comes to your problems, you have a response in 4 choices. You can resist your problems, you can resent your problems, you can rage about your problems, or you can respond to the positive purpose of your problems. And I've heard it said, when it comes to your problems, don't nurse them, curse them, or rehearse them, because those problems are the very tools that God's going to use to build into your life the character qualities you lack. Change, when left to chance, gives birth to conflict. And if you don't change, things won't change. And I'll guarantee you this, the only thing that won't change is the fact that things will change. So if you want something to change, you've got to change your attitude towards it. Success is not a destination, it's a journey. Are you enjoying the journey? All that's given to anyone is given to you. I want you to listen carefully. Success is never final, but failure is never fatal. An investment in knowledge will pay you the best return on your investment. You are full of the power of success. Now, why do I say this with such strong conviction? It's real simple. The Scriptures tell us that greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. I'm Dr. G, and I want you to create success. Why not start today? Hey, right now would be a good time. God bless.
It's been said, the best way to predict your future is to create it. No matter your circumstances, there is a solution to your situation. Dr. G and Kevin invite you to explore the possibilities of creating a new financial platform that you control and no longer allow yourself to be controlled by the circumstances of your life. Visit them at wealthempowers.com. That's WealthEmpowers.com. Come and meet Dr. G and Kevin at the Investor Business Forum. Oh, one last thought. Isn't it time for you to stop making a living and start making a life? Call Dr. G and Kevin at 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645.